Jim Kunkel here. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel and set the notification bell to all so that you won't miss any of my new content. On this episode of Global Topic, we'll be talking about robotic technologies for the abrasive blasting industry. With me today, I have Joey Wijnolst from VertiDrive. He comes to us from the Netherlands. Hey, Joey, could you go into detail on the unique robotic technologies that VertiDrive provides to the global protective coatings industry related to surface preparation?
Hi, Jim. First of all, glad to be here, of course. As you said, all the way from the Netherlands, but in this modern age, that's not a problem. I will go into detail, but first let me give you a short introduction about our company, about VertiDrive, to let the viewers know what we do and who we are. We were actually started not that long ago, 12 years ago, by a single engineer, a maritime engineer. And the problems that he faced in the field of surface preparation made him want to change how work is done. And since then, VertiDrive is actually modernizing the way of working. And we provide solutions, not only a product, we provide solutions. And a solution is made, of course, also by delivering a product, but also by the implementation of the product in the daily businesses. And that includes training, for example, and me or my colleagues visit on site. What we do with our products, with our solutions, is we improve the safety and, of course, also the efficiency and the quality in which work is done. So in 12 years, that's not that long, but in 12 years, we became the market leader in magnetic crawlers, actually, in the solution of the magnetic crawler. And it turned out that good in the field that actually most customers, most contractors are switching from vacuum units to magnetic units.
So how do you improve safety, efficiency, and importantly, quality?
Well, safety first, of course. Safety is always the most important, and then comes money. But because with our products, with our solutions, you do not have to be close to the nozzle anymore, which is, of course, the most dangerous part of the surface prep work, it's a lot safer. And efficiency comes actually in the fact that its average production rate of the solutions of us is about 8 times higher than when you do manual work. And also, a robotic solution, automated solution, can work for 24/7. People cannot. The other thing is quality. It provides the same high quality over and over again, because once you've had your settings right on that robot, they simply don't change. So they stay the same. So I can honestly say we've blown away quite a few inspectors already by the consistent quality our products deliver.
So how has VertiDrive become a market leader?
Well, first of all, there's a big difference between us and a lot of other suppliers of equipment. And of course, there is some great equipment around, but where we stand out is that it's our core business. It's not an accessory, it's what we do. We breathe this, and that's the most important part. For the rest, I and my colleagues, we travel the world, and that's why we also have experience in hundreds of different situations. And this experience actually allows us to offer our customers the best there is. And also, a lot of those products out there, they have a single purpose. Ours don't have one single purpose. They can be used for more than one purpose, but I'll tell more about that later.
Okay, So, being based in the Netherlands, how do you provide global support and service?
Yeah, well, of course, this time we're in the COVID-19, the Corona time. We cannot travel the world, so we do our utmost best to do it digitally or by phone. But we have a lot of partnerships and dealers as well, worldwide. So actually, all over the world, there is local support available. And besides local support, we also offer 24/7 support by phone. And of course, with the planes going all around the world, we can be everywhere in the world within 36 hours, actually, if necessary.
So, Joe, you may be very curious, can you go into more detail on the robotic technologies from VertiDrive?
Yes, of course I can. That's why I'm here, right? Um, I'll first start with our M2 and M4 series because they have some similarities, and then I'll come to the other robots who also have some similarities. The similarities between the M2 robot, our smallest robot, and the M4 robot, actually our biggest robot, is that they are both made for closed hydroblasting. That means with the use of vacuum. So there's no cleanup because of the vacuum. It's not losing any water and it leaves the surface almost completely dry. The small difference between there is that the M2 is a small version, so its cleaning pattern is 7.5-inch wide, and the M4 is a lot bigger. That one has a 15.5-inch wide cleaning pattern. As I said, there's no cleanup, so nobody has to clean after work is done. What's also similar is that both, of course, use magnets. So the operator does not have to deal with the reaction force of the water, the thrust, or the thrust from the abrasive. They both can also do horizontal, vertical, and overhead, e.g. upside down. So that's not a problem. Because of the magnets, they are that strong, you can just turn it upside down underneath of a ship's hull, for example, or at a floating roof from a tank, and they will just stay there. Not a problem at all. The differences between those two robots is that the M2, it's a small air-powered, kind of like the old-fashioned vacuum cleaner model. Only it can work up to 36K at 8 gallons a minute with 8 nozzles. And this one is only made for hydroblasting. And you drive it around with a handlebar. And on that handlebar, you can drive it forward, backward, and adjust the speed. It has a slightly lower production rate, of course, but that's because it's made for smaller areas. The M4 actually can hold up to 16 nozzles and work with 43K at 12 gallons a minute. And then still it leaves the surface almost dry. What's special about the M4 is that we have different versions. We develop different versions over time. The first one is electric. It has a handheld remote. But we also have a pneumatic version and a pneumatic ATEX version. And that's to say ATEX Zone 2, explosive proof. They're all remote controlled, only the pneumatic versions, kind of different way, of course. But what's also special about the M4 that it's divisible, so it fits through a manhole and can also be converted into an M3.
No, Joey, let me ask you this question. Where's the M2 used, or could I say, the M4, does it do the same only faster?
No, actually not. Because the M2 is mostly used on places where it's hard to get a larger unit work. And then you have to think about underneath pipelines on drilling rigs or in factories, for example. And it's also often used in between the large blocks inside a viaduct where the ships stand on. I mean, the distance between those two blocks is quite small and you won't fit a big unit over there. So that's where it's mostly used.
Very interesting. When I took a look at, the M4 unit, there's three versions. I can get it as electric, I can get pneumatic, but why pneumatic and pneumatic ATEX?
Yeah. Well, ATEX is actually it's explosive proof, and it's commonly known. Um, and that's because some customers actually they prefer a pneumatic unit instead of an electric unit. Uh, for example, when they're not working in a dangerous area and they need a compressor anyway. Other projects, on the other hand, they require the equipment to be explosive proof, and you can think about working at a refinery, for example, or inside a storage tank that's been emptied and has to be cleaned. And for the ATEX version, we use different materials for some parts for the ATEX version because static electricity is a big problem. So that's why.
So what about other solutions that you offer? They can also use abrasives, is that correct?
Yes, yes, that's correct. We have multiple models, and other models we have, they can do more than only water. And that are our M3 and M7 model. I'll tell you more about it. And first, again, I'll start with the similarities between those two models, like I did with the M2 and the M4 as well. What's similar between those two models is that we actually see those two robots as a carrier, a platform for different applications. And they both have an arm, we call it a swinging arm. It's capable of a 5 feet swing. So it swings left and right, and that's 5 feet wide. Both robots are suitable for HV cleaning, high pressure cleaning or washing, with up to 3 nozzles at about 7K psi, 24 gallons a minute. Another application for those robots is the UHP application, ultra high pressure, for paint stripping. And for that, we use a nozzle bar with 8 nozzles that goes up to 43 Ks at 1.5 gallons a minute. The last application we use on those two models is abrasive blasting or wet abrasive blasting. The media used can be anything. We don't provide you a blast pot, just be used with the equipment you already have. And that can go up to 3 nozzles with a maximum thrust of 500 newtons. Of course, those two models, you will not have any reaction force because of the magnets again. So you can also do a horizontal, vertical, and overhead cleaning, upside down cleaning. Also remote controlled, and they fit through a manhole. We made all our products to fit through a manhole because that's very important. What's different between the two models is that the M3 also comes in 3 different versions: electric, pneumatic, and ATEX M2. And as I mentioned before, the M3 and the M4 units, they are actually divisible. That means 2 robots in one. The drives, how we call them, those are actually the wheels which contain the motors and also the magnets. They are the same for the M3 and the M4 motor. So the divisible unit, you take the wheels off, you place them alongside a different middle part, and then you convert it from an M3 open blasting to an M4 if necessary. The M7 is only electric, so it's only an electric version. But what's special about the M7 that besides left and right, the arm can also go up and down. So if you have small obstacles like bolts or very big weld seams or whatever you can think of, you can move the arm up. So you can actually blast over that obstacle. Why we came up with the M7 if it can do almost the same as the M3? It's a very small version. So it has a very small footprint. And that makes it possible to work on a minimum radius of only 2.5 meters, and 2.5 meters, that's about 8 feet.
So, which assets typically would you see robotic blasting utilized?
Um, well, it will be profitable to use on all large steel surfaces that need to be prepped. And our models are actually used at a wide variety of assets, but they are mostly used in the oil and gas and shipping industry. For example, just before this whole Corona thing went down, we equipped a large dry dock in China with 8 of our N4 robots. But our solutions are also common when preparing storage tanks and on operational FPSOs, those floating refineries and drilling rigs, for example.
Interesting. So, in your professional experience, what are the benefits attributed to the use of robotic blasting?
Well, quite a lot, but I will keep it short. The first thing, of course, is that huge improvement in safety, because you no longer have to be near the nozzle. It makes surface preparation work a lot safer. I mean, a blaster also doesn't need to handle the thrust anymore, so it's also a lot more ergonomic, what means less fatigue. And as I mentioned before, it's a lot faster than manual work, and the quality is also higher because your settings don't change. And a manual blaster, he or she, of course, can blast for a couple of hours, and then they need a break. And when they are tired, production rates lower, and probably also the quality. That's not something you have with a robot. So the thing people also need to understand is that we don't make and implement our solutions, put people on a sideline to let people lose their job. Definitely not. We're only making work a lot easier for you. And that's why I also always tell companies that they don't need less people when using our solutions. They need less people to carry out a specific job, but those people can do more. So companies just need to get more work.
Definitely, definitely. So let's talk about the savings aspect that's attributed to the use of robotic blasting.
Yeah, yeah. And I know everybody always wants to hear a number or a percentage. Uh, that's difficult, but we frequently have customers who achieve a cost reduction up to 95% if you want to hear a number. But still, we all know each project is different, and you really have to look at one specific project to get a number. But to make that easier for customers, we have developed a calculation sheet, which we use to calculate the ROI, the return on investment for customers. And simply said, that's an Excel sheet in which you fill in all the numbers that apply to your specific situation. And that's from abrasive or water costs to fuel costs, rental costs of equipment, and safety measurements. And that calculation sheet will then give you a number when your return on investment is.
So, Joey, we covered the different technologies that VertiDrive provides to the global protective coatings industry. And you provided a lot of valuable information on the benefits of robotic blasting. In closing, is there anything that the viewers of this episode need to know that you want them to know? If you could go into that.
Yeah, of course. There is actually. And as we, as VertiDrive, are always moving forward and improving our products and also develop new products, I can proudly say we've recently launched a new model that's called our M8 model. This robot is specifically made as a solution to the difficulties that occur in cargo hold cleaning. It fits in between the ribs most ships have, and it has a adjustable preset cleaning program. The arm of this robot can move left and right and up and down, just like in M7, but the nozzles can also be rotated 360 degrees. So this allows users to clean the top and side of ribs as well, not only the flat surfaces. Another special feature of this robot is that it has extra magnets, so it can drive through corners as well, with a maximum of 70 degrees. We have more developments going on, of course. I cannot tell you too much about the other ones, but what I can tell is that we are developing a fully automated subsea cleaner, so that cleans the hull of ships when they're still in the water, for example, when they're loading or unloading in port. And we are also working on a robot which can do painting, so we can provide a complete solution to our customers.
Wow, that is really interesting news there. Just think of the efficiencies and the effectiveness of being able to do, the subsea part of that is absolutely amazing. So I look forward to seeing that technology when it is released by VertiDrive. For everyone watching this episode, I will have Joey's email information so that if you want to reach out to him and talk about robotic blasting, and especially talk about the solutions, the technical solutions that come from VertiDrive, but I also have the website address for VertiDrive as well, so that everyone can take a look at these technologies. And then obviously, I ran video here during our conversation, so you can actually see these units in operation. Joey, I want to thank you for the opportunity to talk with you today and the information you provide my viewers. Thank you for coming on.
Well, Jim, thanks for having me over, and I'm always happy to talk about what we can offer. So, people, you got my email address below. Reach out to me, and I'm happy to help.
Great. Thank you, Joey. Have a great day.
You too, Jim. Bye.